Hello everyone and welcome to game, I believe 4 now. Yes, game 4 in the series between Squirtle versus Alive. Game 4 taking place here on Metropolis. A really great series, a lot of good back and forth games, and really interesting to see how a Protoss player really needs to utilize those AoE effect units, especially when going up against Terran bios. Squirtles in game 1 and game 2 had never really gotten any AoE, no robotics bay with Colossi, not really good side storms, and because of that, Alive was simply able to walk over Squirtle's army, as Marines are high DPS units, but they are essentially glass cannons if you can land a good amount of AoE on them. Front door supply depot now coming in from Alive. We'll see if his strategy is going to perhaps change. There is creep tumors now placed down over here and over here as well. I do like the fact that some other maps have destructible rocks here as opposed to creep tumors. Destructible rocks don't leave behind creep, so it doesn't give an advantage to Zerg, as Terran players and Protoss players would both have to destroy the creep tumor and then let the creep recede before being able to land their building or even warp in the nexus. So I guess the Terran player has a little bit of a better advantage, as he can build the building and then just wait for the creep to recede and then land it. But we'll see what's going to happen so far in this series. I don't believe that those island expansions will be utilized. I don't think I've ever seen those island expansions ever utilized, and I think it would have to be like a 45-minute game in order to even consider taking that expansion, because it is so out in the open, it is so exposed, and you really just don't want to do that. Alive now opening up with a supply depot on the front door. This supply depot will prevent any probe from being able to walk inside now, as the SCV is going to work on that supply depot there. That supply depot already at 200 some, or now at 200 some out of hit points, will not get taken down, and now pretty much Squirtle is playing in the dark. Meanwhile, coming in here, SCV gonna come around the corner, head up the ramp, and take a good look around the map. He knows that this is a full cross spawn. Squirtle does have a cybernetics core. He is running now off of 2 gas, so we may see what he attempted in game 1. A proxy Stargate would be fairly effective, perhaps even hiding it down over here. Yeah, hiding it down over here to get up onto that high ground. There is one Marine on patrol, making sure that no probe will be able to slip by whatsoever. We are chrono boosting out a Stalker, as we are now also getting in a fair amount of gas. We'll see how this is all going to follow up here. I don't believe there is actually enough range on a pylon here to warp in up onto the high ground. Otherwise, a proxy Stargate with a proxy high ground advantage would just spell absolute doom straight into Alive's base. Zealots running around, taking down Marines, Void Rays taking down anything else. But we are going into now a triple racks play. Also, we are establishing those 2 additional refineries, so Alive pretty much playing straight up, playing much more metagame style, and we'll see if this really works. Alive has a 2-to-1, has a 2-to-1 advantage so far in this series, and we are going into an additional 2 gateways here in the main base. SCV now just wandering around, proxy pylon still not powering anything, but will reveal the fog of war here, as now a squadron of Marines on the move and will catch sight of a probe. The probe not going to run away in time. Oh, nope, does ever so barely, and at 14 shield points able to escape. One SCV does get taken down here, so I guess first blood goes to Squirtle, as Squirtle takes out the very annoying scouting SCV, but that scouting SCV has already revealed so much information. Alive now with his orbital command at his natural, with a strong economic advantage now. 23 SCVs with 2 mules just mining away and doing a great job at that. Squirtle has not yet transferred any probes to the low ground, doing so just now, and also training up and chrono boosting out more workers over here at his natural expansion. We see that it is 3 gate plus a robotics bay. We may see Colossi once more, but he is going to be going first into his observer. He wants to make sure that if Banshees are coming, he can detect them. We can see that what stim pack already being researched. We are going into double reactor, so a lot more Marines will be added, and then perhaps followed up with combat shield and then concussive shells. We are going into a reactor on the factory as well. We should be getting in some medevacs, and Alive going to be hitting a very strong timing here on this map. If he is able to knock on the front door when there are not that many gateway units, or just only gateway units, he may be able to get enough damage through. He does not have level 1 weapons upgrade. He is getting that engineering bay over here by his refinery now. So we may see an attack sometime 100 and probably 200 seconds from now, which is 3 minutes. I would guesstimate at the 11-minute mark we should have an attack. There should be a good amount of Marines and also double medevacs, perhaps even concussive shell completed, as this may just be a mass Marine army. Observers are still making their move. We are going into double forge now, so double upgrades for the Protoss ground and weapons. The observer is still wandering around, is going to park himself in the back of the base. How a cloaked unit has a shadow, I'm not 100% sure. But the Marines are going to spot it and shoot it out of the sky. Down it goes. So the observer no longer having any true sight information there. Immortals are being added, but the Immortals are not going to be that useful against mass Marines. Immortals very good at destroying bunkers, but there doesn't even seem to be that many units there at all. There is one Zealot holding off over here, but the Zelnaga tower is not going to reveal them. One observer or probe now trying to make its way over, and it is going to be about 10 seconds too late. Alive, looking to strike while the iron is hot, and may be able to do so, perhaps just completely destroying Squirtle's base, as Squirtle doesn't have much inside his own base. No, what is he doing? He's now moving back with these stalkers. If he intercepts these units, that would be huge. And here we go. The medevacs are coming in. Stalkers are now down, and this is a really, really bad play. Alive now in a bit of trouble, now forced to retreat with all of his units. Marines are getting taken down, and not much damage dealt with a lot of damage taken. So 5 Marines lost some damage on that medevac, but now we see a large group of Marines, or it's actually a small group of Marines trying to make their way in. The Zealots unable to finish or get to those Marines at this time. But let's take a look at the total losses. 850 versus 693, as the Marines now once again try to push back over. The Immortals now making their way in. The medevac, one medevac does go down. A second medevac may get taken down as well. Sentries do have a Guardian Shield, and with beautiful force fields and beautiful micro kiting the rest of those Marines, finishes off the rest of the drop. Beautiful, beautiful play there, as we are now going into 2-base play by Squirtle. Squirtle does have level 2 or level 1 weapons and armor upgrades about to complete. I do not believe he has a Twilight Council. No, he has a Twilight Council. He could start level 2 in just a moment. He does not have Blink though, but he does not have Zealot Charge, so not quite sure why he got the Twilight Council, unless he at least wanted to upgrade one of those two. Upgrade one of those 2 units. Robotics Bay now being added, level 2 weapons and armor upgrades. We can see that a factory is now making its way over. A probe now going to try to establish up a new base down over here, but it will quickly get pushed back, as the Marine now chasing after that probe. I believe the probe perhaps could have actually finished off the Marine. There was not much health left on that Marine, especially after the stim. The Marine now running away without charge. The Zealot doesn't stand a chance, as the Marine and the Zealots do move at about the same speed. 2 medevacs once more lying in wait, ready to do another drop. There is Zealots, Stalkers, and Sentries and Immortals already here. Level 1 weapons and armor upgrades completed for the Protoss army. Meanwhile, the Marines and Marauders have no upgrades whatsoever. So the Marines will be dealing significantly less damage, while the Marines and while the Stalkers, Immortals, Sentries, and Zealots will be doing significantly more. Templar Archives now being added as well, so it really feels like Squirtle is going along multiple tech paths, and we'll see how that really works. Oh, he canceled his robotics base, so I might take that back, not going down multiple tech paths, opting to go for Psystorm over Colossi. Third Nexus now being warped in, We can see that the third base already being established by Alive. Alive looking to attack at some point, but these medevacs simply just waiting, and they are not doing a drop as of yet. Marines and Marauders now pushing over here at the third base. This may be a bit of a two-prong attack. The Zealots, Stalkers now making their way down. Is the medevac going to be able to pick up those units? Yes, able to do exactly that. But these medevacs are still not going in for another attack as of yet. Medevac now backing off. Perhaps we will. Yep, there is going to be one High Templar here. It could go in for a feedback on that medevac. That medevac essentially at maximum energy and not that many hit points. Always a very, very bad day when a medevac is killed by a High Templar and with one feedback. Zealot now pushing across the center. Alive still has a significant army advantage at this point, but the tech advantage, I believe, has to go to Squirtle. Squirtle now about to get Psystorm, and if he's able to get 2 to 3 Archons, or sorry, Templars, with Psystorm, I don't believe the Ghost will make it out into the field in time at all. You can see that there are actually a lot of High Templar in play, 7 High Templar in the field, and with this, Squirtle is now making a move. So making a move across the field. 2-2 upgrades. 2-2 upgrades now coming in. The Stalkers are now going to try to engage. There's one Marine there. The Vikings are going to be absolutely useless. Not going to be doing much of anything. 2-2 upgrades. And now with 4 Ghosts trying to be trained, the Ghost will actually come out before the Mobius reactor is done. So they will not have enough energy for EMP just quite yet. Level 3 weapons and armor upgrades coming in. This is a very, very small timing window. Squirtle needs to attack and strike while the iron is hot, perhaps taking down this base over here. Yes, it is going to be a base trade here. Zealots and Stalkers coming down. And now where are the rest of the High Templars? Now just trying to stay close together. Robotics Bay now finally coming in. SCVs are going to be able to mineral path their way through the rest of that army. This orbital command will fall. No, it doesn't look like it will fall, as the High Templars are all grouped together. That is a really, really bad decision. The Observer now needs to stay very, very close by, as we now see Zealots attempting to take down this one orbital command, and that orbital command most likely will be lifting off in just a moment. That orbital command down to 600 some odd hit points. It could start to get burned down. The High Templars are all in the very, very far backfield. Marauders and the Marines are now trying to make their way in, and here we go. There's a Psystorm across a lot of them, but one High Templar does get taken down. And very, very micro-intensive battle here. Who is going to come out on top, as level 3 weapons upgrade and armor upgrades about halfway finished. So Squirtle looking to finish 3-3 upgrades, and if he has superior upgrades against this 2-1 army, or at most 2-2, that may just simply be too much. This one factory over here already taking a lot of damage. Where are those High Templars? Still dancing around in the backfield. 5 High Templars in this group. The factory now already starting to burn. Zealots are off over here. They do have charge, looking to come in for a flank. 6 High Templars, that is it. One of the High Templars were taken down, as we are now going into double Colossi. So a really brilliant tech switch. No Vikings, or hardly any Vikings in the field, only 2. And what is going to be happening? Extended thermal lance range. Ghosts are leading the way. This one proxy pylon looks like it will get taken down. Oh, one Ghost now gets taken down, and now all the units are trying to retreat, but the Ghosts are going to be a little bit slower. Who's going to come out on top? EMP Shockwave. Is it going to hit the High Templars is the question. Now backing off again, as we now see more Marines and level 2 armor upgrades still not yet complete. Meanwhile, 3-3 upgrades about done. And with 3-3 upgrades, these High Templars... Oh, EMP Shockwave across multiple High Templar, but they still have enough energy for Psystorm, as they were near maxed out on energy. Here we go. Here's the engagement. Colossi now coming in. Extended thermal lance range about to kick online. Archons now merging into the field of battle as well. The Marines and the Marauders now trying to push their way in. The extended thermal lance range just complete. The Archons now in full retreat. What is going to happen here? Archons now trying to make their way in, and so many Archons getting destroyed. Squirtle now behind. What is going to be happening over here? This is not looking good at all. Squirtle had a small advantage and then lost it, as Alive now comes in. Another Psystorm comes in. Archons now trying to engage. Alive still just doing a great job staying alive here. And now finishing off more units. The one Colossus is making its way over. It is 3-3 upgraded High Templars. What is going to be happening with the rest of this attack force? Harvester count is 60 versus 42 though, as more units are now trying to come back over to reinforce. More units are reinforcing. The Colossi needs to back up, get up onto the high ground, and a little bit of a dance here, and the Marauders and the Marines were taking damage from Zealots instead. So far, Squirtle is actually dealing a lot of damage, and now the Medivacs able to retreat and pull away, as Squirtle is now running up, or will be running on 4 bases. 4 bases against essentially only a 1 or 2 base now. Terran, the Terran player, forced to rebuild this orbital command. There are some photon cannons here. Zealots now warping in. Oh, High Templars warping in. But are they going to be able to do anything? One merging into an Archon. No good feedback targets. Probes now coming over as the Marauders and the Marines look to finish off the rest of these units. These Medivacs are essentially very, very low on hit points, and the Archons could just simply destroy this army here. They are massive units, so the concussive shells do not work against them. High Templar at 66 energy, waiting for the additional energy there for perhaps a Psystorm. And here we go, the Archon absorbing a lot of energy, a lot of the attacks, and now is continuing the chase. And I believe this attack force will fall as a Psystorm does hit the Medivacs, the Marines, and the final Marauder. One High Templar here. Oh, taking a lot of damage. What's going to be happening? The Archon trying to finish off that Medivac. More units are coming over to reinforce. The Marauders going after the Archon, but a new Archon and Colossi coming in from the north. Harvester count 63 to 44 as the Colossi still pushing their way in, and because Alive was forced to use so many scanner sweeps, his Marine army is much, much smaller now, and that is starting to take its toll. The Marauders not that effective against those Zealots trying to kite, but as they keep on kiting, they are constantly needing the stim, and that is a lot of damage still. Archons now chasing after those units, and now after another stim decides to back away again. And now we see a one proxy pylon which may fall. The Colossi are now trying to come in to engage. The Colossi now trying to run away, but the Archons all getting free hits on those units, and the Colossus survives with 6 hit points. Archons now being merged in the field. It looks like this is going to be an Archon Zealot army, Medivacs, and a fair number of them, but there's not much of a bio force to go alongside it. Only 8 Marines, 5 Marauders, as the Viking may be able to finish off this one Colossus down to 14 total hit points, or 8 shield points, 6 hit points to be exact. And now let's take a look at the income. 1,600 versus 1,300, but also double the amount of gas for Squirtle at this point, as Alive has not taken his own gas here at his third. Only one of the 2. Idle SCV also coming in. We'll see what's going to happen there, as the units are now just still regrouping. Squirtle now somehow able to wrestle control back once more. He does need to get a pylon operating on all of these forges again in order to start level 3 upgrades. But look at this, Alive coming in with now another drop. And it perhaps is going to try to figure out what's happening over here. One probe does get taken down, and now the pylons are also warping in. Only one Marine trying to clean this up. These Medivacs are all going to unload, and what is going to be happening here? And that is, once again, a large number of Colossi. 3 Colossi, especially since they do 42 damage. Marines and Marauders are now finally showing up over here. Going to take down both of these pylons on the high ground. No more sight up onto the high ground, and still Squirtle without blink, unable to really chase after these Medivacs. A large army now coming across the center. Archons are part of the group. High Templar are part of the group as well. A good amount of Psystorms across these 3 High Templars here, as we are now going to see a small group of Marines attempt to focus down a lot of probes, but all those units will get destroyed and swiped down in a second. It looks like Squirtle is in prime position to even up the score at 2 games apiece. What's going to be happening? 69 probes, 71 probes versus 45 SCVs. SCVs now forced to do some long distance mining, as Alive is now down to less than 1,000 minerals a minute compared to 1,600. That is definitely not looking good. However, the 2-2 Bioforce going up against a 3-3-0 Protoss force, the Archons would really benefit from some shield upgrades, which are now getting started. It looks like the Gravitic boosters going to be added as well, so the Robotics Bay looking to get movement speed upgrade for observers to keep track and make sure that those ghosts, wherever they are not able to get off all of their EMP shockwaves. One proxy pylon down here by Squirtle will get destroyed. And now we see another large push across the center. 8 Archons with a total of 360 hit points between all of them will be able to absorb much of the damage. The problem will be those ghosts. The ghosts do deal a flat 100 damage to the shield. The Archons, however, the Marauders only deal 12 damage since these Archons are not armored units. So High Templars now making their way over. Are they going to be able to get in the necessary damage and perhaps get off some Psy Storms here? No sentries, or essentially no sentries in this group to try to corral these units. And now here we go. Psy Storm feedback, and a beautiful play catching many of those units out of position. Zealots are now going to try to charge in. Another Psy Storm could be coming in. Where is it? No, come on. No more Psy Storm. Archons are just engaging off over here. But Alive does have to say GG as Squirtle flanked and took out Alive's army, now evening up the series at 2 games apiece. Stay tuned for a critical Game 5 in this best of 5 series.